Welcome back to PowerPoint Module 1, Part 2. We will be picking up where we left off on PowerPoint Module 1, page 39. Now it's time to learn how to resize pictures. Hopefully this might be a little bit of a review from Word. I'll click on slide number 1 to see my first picture, and then I'll click on the picture itself. When I have a picture selected, I get a Picture Tools tab specifically for that picture, and it has a Format tab on it. Let's look at resizing first by clicking and dragging. So if I hover over the bottom or the top corner, one of the corners of the picture, and I click and drag diagonally, it resizes the picture proportionally. This is important to keep the proportions so that the picture doesn't look squished. So I'll resize it, and then let's look over here on my Picture Tools Format tab. In the size area, I can actually see the actual size of the picture. Let's resize it by typing in the size we want. There we go. Now I'll come on down to slide 2, click on the picture, resize this, and slide 4. And let's move these pictures. So two-headed arrow, when I hover over the corners or the outside dots, two-headed arrows pop up, and those I can use to resize my picture. A four-headed arrow allows you to move it. So if I go into the middle of my picture, you'll see my cursor changes to a four-headed arrow. I can hold down the mouse button, and drag the picture to where I want it to go. And as I'm dragging, you'll notice some lines will start popping up. These are called smart guides, and they help me figure out where a good place to line up the picture is. So in this case, I want to line it up so that the middle vertical smart guide pops up, so I know that this picture is lined up. It's actually the center of the page, and I'll click and let go. I'll come to slide 2, click and drag this. I want it so it's not on top of the words, but I also want that middle horizontal line to pop up, that smart guide. I'll let go. And then on slide 1, I'll do the same thing. And I want to line up the middle of the picture with the edge of the W. You'll see my smart guides pop up for that. I actually maybe want to raise it up just a bit. There we go. If I come back down to slide 2, I can still insert another picture into this slide. It doesn't have a content holder, so I'll go to Insert, Pictures, find the picture I want, and click Insert. And then if I click on that picture, remember I get my tools, my tabs specifically for that picture. I could also hover over the edges to resize, but there's also a rotate button right here at the top of my picture. If I hold down my mouse button, I can rotate this image. So I'll go ahead and rotate it so it's on its side. And then get a four-headed arrow, hold down the mouse button, and move the picture. Let's zoom out a little bit. Move the picture to the bottom of my slide. So with the paw print selected, I'll grab the top middle sizing handle. Notice that my cursor changes to a two-headed arrow. I'm going to hold down and resize the picture. So if I have my Picture Tools Format tab selected, I can see as I resize this picture, I want it to be, the height to be 1.14. So I'll resize my picture till this is the approximate size of it. And then I'll click and drag and line up the left edge of the picture with the middle of my slide. Next, let's see how to move a slide. If I take and click on my third slide, and then I can click and hold my mouse button down and drag this thumbnail so it's now the fourth slide. Okay, so let's look at changing our theme colors. So if I click on my Design tab, remember that I have all of these theme colors in this area, but I also have an area for variants. Variants keep the slideshow theme basically the same, but it just varies it slightly. So you can see, for instance, maybe the pattern looks a little bit different on the title slide, or the color scheme looks a little different. The fonts could look different too as well. I want to change the colors only of my slideshow, so keep everything else the same. So if I click on colors, I can choose my yellow-orange, and you'll see it will change my slideshow slightly. Just the title slide will change colors a little bit. You can add notes to your slideshow. Notes appear as you are presenting. They allow you to see what you are going to say about each slide. You can also print a note sheet that shows the slide and the notes so that you can use that to prompt yourself on what you're going to say about each slide. But the audience does not see the notes. I use this. I think it's very handy. So you click the Notes button to get the little Notes area to appear. You can also find this on your View tab. You can click Notes to make sure that you can see the area to type the notes. And then go ahead and type the note that on each slide that you're going to use to prompt you to know what to say while you're presenting your slideshow. So that's the notes for slide 3. I'll come down and add the notes for slide 4. All right, there are my notes for my slideshow. Now, I will caution you, don't get notes confused with comments. We did comments when we were in Word, and I just don't want you to get those confused. That's different. Notes are there for you to use as you are presenting. Let's check some spelling. If I come up to slide 1, it's important to start at the beginning, so I'll come up to slide 1 and go to my Review tab and choose Spelling. Here's where I spelled obedient, so I can go ahead and change that, and it will fix it. I can also right-click on words with the red squiggle line and change the spelling, just like I've done in other programs, but you do need to know how to run spell check on your entire slideshow. So there are many views for PowerPoint. Right now we're in normal view. There is also a slide sorter view that allows you to see a thumbnail of each of your slides. It also allows you to kind of check and make sure that your slideshow looks consistent throughout, or it's a great way to reorder slides if you need to. Reading view puts it into a view similar to how you might see as you're presenting. You can use the arrow buttons to move through the slideshow. And then slideshow itself gives you your slideshow. It shows you your slides in slideshow view, and you can click your arrow buttons to move through your slides. You can also click down here to move through your slides. You can hit your space bar or your mouse button to go forward through your slideshow. There's lots of different ways. Use whatever way feels comfortable to you, and if you know a different way than I have mentioned, feel free to use that as well. To get out of your slideshow, you can hit your escape key, and that will take you out of your slideshow. I'll come back to normal view like you're used to so you can see it. I do want to also show you there is a tab for slideshow mode that allows you to start your slideshow from the beginning, from the current slide, whichever you choose. It also has this area right here that allows you to use your slideshow in presenter view. It doesn't work unless you have your computer hooked up to a monitor, so I'll show you this in class. But when you're using presenter view, that allows you to see a preview of the slide that's coming next in your slideshow, and it also shows the notes to you, but not to your audience, the notes to you on your computer so that you know what you're going to say for each slide. It's very handy when you're presenting, but if you're not used to it, it can throw you off. So we'll look at that together in class. Let's look really quick at printing slides. We won't actually print slideshows in class, but I do want you to see the different options because this can be confusing if you've never printed slideshows in PowerPoint before. If I go to print, the default thing it will do is print one slide per page. So it'll look something like this. It'll print full page slides. And if you have a 20-slide slideshow, it's going to be 20 pages of printing. So come up here to the top right here where it says full page slides. You can change this option. So you can have 2 slides per page. You can have, I think this is probably what you're used to seeing, the 6-slide horizontal, or sometimes professors will print 3 slides on a page and give you an area to write notes about them. There is also the option to print in notes pages, which will allow you to see the notes that you've put for each of the slides. Do know that there's a way to change the color, since PowerPoint uses lots of color when you're printing on a color printer, but you want to print it in grayscale or black and white. You can choose it right from your print menu. And also know about the Tell Me box. So this box allows you to type in whatever you need to do, and it will take you right there to what you need to do. This is such a handy box. If you haven't been using it, you really should. You can use it on tests. You can use it on assignments. If you can't find the option for what you need to do, you can just type it in this box, and it'll help pull it up for you. There's also a help tab, just like on all our other programs. That help button allows you to search for things. There is a training area too, that you can look at the training available to you, and you can search for specific training. Those are all very helpful when you are trying to do something in PowerPoint. So that's all for our PowerPoint chapter. I look forward to seeing you in class.